All's fair in football. It's fall. It's time for football. It's been time for football. What am I saying? Christian Ballard here at Ballard Sports Media. You notice the hat? That's right. Go Blazers. Coming soon in a couple years. We're looking at possibly the fall of 2024, maybe the spring of 25. I don't know. It's all going to depend. I still got some classes at Wallace State, but I am committed to going to the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Birmingham. Got to tour on Friday. Beautiful campus, great people. Uh, I look forward to getting down there and continuing my education very soon with sports communication. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. We look forward to it. What do we have on the show tonight? We recap college football. We look at the new poll that's out. And I didn't really make any banners. I'm just going to be honest. I kind of threw this together a couple hours ago. Then I got caught up talking on the phone with some friends. Everything's good. Love talking with my friends. But we didn't really make banners for it tonight. We got the Eagles and the Dolphins right now as this play is complete to Tyreek Hill. Tua in Philadelphia against Jalen Hurts. First time these two guys meet on a football field against each other. Remember, they were former teammates at Alabama. Tua took the job from Jalen after the 2nd and 26 national championship in 2017, 2018. Philly's up 17-10 with 5 minutes to go in the third, but it is 2nd and 5 for the Dolphins right now. So we'll keep an eye on that game. Also, game 6, top of the 8th, Houston leads the Rangers, the ALCS, 3-2, but the score is 3-2 in favor of the Texas Rangers in the top of the 8th inning. Could we see a game 7? I think so. I really think that's possible at this point. But if Houston comes back to win, they will be going to the World Series. I'd like to see the Rangers and the Phillies see all red, Rangers have never won a World Series, never even made a World Series, at least from my research. Phillies haven't won since 2008. Astros haven't won since 2017, which, by the way, they kind of cheated. I don't know. I'm past all that. I don't even care about the sign stealing anymore. I just don't. It doesn't faze me. It is what it is. Game 6 tomorrow. Philly wins. They're going to the World Series if they beat the Diamondbacks. If not, Game 7 will be Tuesday if Arizona can win tomorrow. If Texas pulls off a win tonight, the Rangers, Game 7 will be tomorrow. And the winner of that will obviously go to the World Series. And the World Series is set to take place, I believe, starting Friday. I'm excited. Let's go. Will we be live for the games? Probably not. I hate to say that, but it'll be another busy weekend, another busy week next week. Game streaming schedules, we find a little bit of time on Saturdays, and that's it. That's it. What do you want me to do? I work. I go to school. I have a life outside of YouTube. I love it, and I love YouTube. I would do this full time if I could. I'm not making the money on here yet. Working towards it. Even if I don't make the money on here, I still just love making content for you guys. And I hope you all enjoy it. Really hope you enjoy it. What's up in the chat? Who we got tonight? Daniel Berry and Waylon, the godfather of the SEC. How you doing? Roll Tide, buddy. I want to get Waylon on here if that's okay. I want his thoughts on yesterday's third Saturday game. I think Alabama did good. They played a close game. It's going to happen in a rivalry game. It's going to happen. They came back. I like Jalen Milroe faced adversity against Texas. And Texas is good. But he couldn't come back on Texas. He came back on Tennessee. Now, I know Texas is better, but come on now. And it wasn't, I mean, you look at this third Saturday game, it wasn't too much of a deficit. I mean, it was 20-7 at the half. The Bama defense played murder ball, shut them out in the third and fourth quarters, and they outscored them 24-0 in the second half. 17-0 in the third, 10-0 in the fourth. Do the math. Yada, yada, yada. Joe Milton was the lead passing quarterback in the game, 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chase McClellan for Alabama, 27 carries, 115 yards and a touchdown. Squirrel White was the lead receiver. He comes from Tennessee, 10 receptions, 111 yards, and a touchdown. They did pretty good. They did good. I give Tennessee their props. Give them credit for last year. Alabama just wanted the win. Alabama wanted the win. What's up, Waylon? Let me get you in here, man.
Chris, what's going
We
on,
got
man?
Waylon. How you doing?
I'm still here, Chris. How you doing, man? You doing good?
Doing great, but working hard, but not too hard.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, that's. I don't know, and this is another typical Alabama ball game yesterday. I guess I don't know. I don't know what happened in the first half. I was there. They just didn't. I don't guess. I don't know what happened, Chris. They just didn't show up. That's all I
Yeah.
mean. I
Oh,
don't know.
intercepted by the Dolphins there for a pick six.
There it
Jalen
goes.
throws a pick six. Man.
Hurts is known for making them uh-ohs that cost big games and championship games. He's good at that.
Yeah, but he's improved his game in ways. But to get back real quick to the Tennessee game, I'll be honest, I was at work, so I didn't really get to watch all of it. But I go back and I watch highlights of these games. It looked like Tennessee was just a better team up until the second half. Like they were outscoring, they were out passing, out playing. Too many penalties for Alabama, costly mistakes. Alabama didn't have that rhythm in the first half. But I'm glad that they were able to turn it around.
Well, we got one penalty yesterday for 5 yards, so that's the only penalty we had yesterday. So that's a heck of an improvement. But
Was it only one? Really?
only one penalty yesterday, yeah. But we
Oh wow.
we still gave up sacks and still had some problems with the center and the quarterback snapping. I think Alabama leaned on them, and a couple of me and my buddies were talking about that while we were sitting there when Alabama made those, 3 plays in the first part of the third quarter and made the touchdown, which turned the ball game completely around the first or the third quarter did. But Alabama just leaned on Tennessee. The Tennessee didn't have any gas left in them, Chris. Alabama squeezed them hard, and I guess they really did just wear them out, and then they beat them down.
Yeah. That's how it works sometimes. Sometimes you get off to a sluggish start and eventually it kind of gets to you. It gets you all pumped up and fired up and you're ready to go by the second half. That's just Alabama. And I don't see too much of a problem with that. I don't like the slow start, but like I said, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Nick Saban happily chewed on that cigar.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they did come back. Now they did. They played some hell. They played some great football in the second half and done what they had to do. But I just think it was one of them type things. They thought I don't know if they thought they could lean on them. Like I said, that they just wore them out and then they could do what they wanted to with them. But I don't know. Tennessee just maybe they ran out of plays. Maybe Alabama's defense, figured some of the stuff out they were doing, and it was just one of those type rivalry games. I guess I look for the LSU game to be the same way, probably more than likely.
Yeah, at least we get the bye week before that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. LSU's defense. The way I look at it, it's garbage. But I mean, their offense is, I don't know, man. You got to watch them. They can score quick.
Hey, you say they don't have any defense. They did shut down Army, but then again, Army's been running like that triple option stuff forever, and it just doesn't really fly in today's college football. So I don't know what to make of yesterday's LSU game, but 62-0 is a very impressive win, and Army's no pushover football program.
Well, no, they're not a pushover, but those saying you go, you know what I'm saying? Kind of,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch any. I may go back and watch some of it this week since we got to play them next and sort of see, look and see what kind of garbage I think they're doing or what they're running. I got a pretty good idea. I know what they run. If they don't have Jaden Daniels, that other boy now, he's a heck of a quarterback, and I can't think of that white boy's name. He'll stand in there and throw that football. So I don't know. LSU, they say if Jaden Daniels wasn't there, they wouldn't have what they've got. I think that other boy could come in and play just as good as him. He just don't have his legs like he's got, but he's got
Do
the
they
arm to do
still
it.
have? Is it Nussmeyer? Is that who they
Yeah,
still have?
yeah,
Garrett Nussmeyer. He's pretty good.
yeah, he'll stand in that pocket like Tom Brady and cut you to pieces.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's what he done. That's what he done against Georgia last year. If you'll go back and watch the championship game, I mean, Daniels was hurt, and they put him in there, and he's the one that got the comeback coming. He's the one that made the scores and got the scores going. So I mean, I don't know. He's pretty. He looked pretty good against Georgia, but Georgia was playing, I guess, everybody in the. I don't know, in the water boy too. But anyway,
Yeah.
you still have to make those plays, man. Like you said, against LSU, against Army. I mean, Army ain't much, but still, you scoring 62 points. That's a lot of points. I mean, I agree with you. That's a lot
It
of
is.
points. Yeah. But anyway, it's just another Alabama. I don't know if Alabama can get 4 quarters together or not this year.
Oh,
We haven't played 4 quarters this year yet,
yeah.
and not in my opinion they had. Not we. I don't have anything to do with the team, but
Yeah.
I
If you're
think
watching, go ahead real quick.
no. I just think these next few games, LSU, Kentucky, and Auburn, these games are not going to be a walk in the park.
Especially remind people, Kentucky, I believe, is on the road. That's a
Yeah,
tough place, and they got off to a good start this year.
Yeah, we got to go up to the Hatfields and McCoy. So yeah, we've got to go up there, and then you got to go down to Voodoo Stadium at
Yeah.
Jordan Air, and I mean anything can happen down there. I don't know. I don't.
So
You,
what I was just reacting to, by the way, if y'all are watching the Dolphins and Eagles, two Dolphin defenders ran into each other and both are down on the field. They took a commercial break, so I hope those guys are okay.
it looked like AI was watching. It looked like Mario Brothers, but I mean,
Yeah.
I hope they're all right too. But it didn't like it felt too good right at the moment. They'd probably be all right, but. Did you watch any of the LSU game last night? LSU and who did LSU? I mean, not last night. Did you watch any of the LSU game yesterday when they played against Army? Did you get to see any of it?
I saw highlights and they looked very explosive, but again, and no disrespect to any service academies out there. Thank you for your service, those men and women who are fighting for this country. But you got to go like it is sometimes. Like the football team is not very good this year. And you could say it was almost a gimme game for LSU, but they still look good in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't get to see any of it. I'll catch it somewhere this week and watch some of it, sort of see what went on. And Alabama's got, oh yeah, you got 2 weeks to get some people, healed up. We don't have no super major injuries, but we got some people that's dinged up and needs to get healed up. So this is a good break for Alabama. This break couldn't have come at a better time. It's always at the same time every year anyway, but they need it. They need
Yeah.
it. They need a week off.
Did you get to watch any of the Penn State game?
No, I didn't get to watch any of the Penn State games. So I was at the Alabama game. So the Penn State, I would just caught scores and stuff of the games. And and I didn't get. That's why I missed out because I wasn't at home sitting here flipping back, channel. But Penn State is once again they're still they start out good and wind up in the end. They can't lose it in the end like they always, I guess.
Well, I will say this: the last tough test for them this year, I think, is going to be Michigan at home. If they win that, even if they don't
Oh,
make the Big Ten title, imagine they're sitting there with the only loss to Ohio State. I mean, could you put that in the playoff? I would. I'd give them a chance.
I, I where are they at? I put the top. I put the coaches poll out in the AP poll, but I forgot where Penn State. Penn State may have fell out. Well, they may have fell out of the top 20. Did they fall out of the top 20? You can probably look it up
Penn
and
State.
see. I can't remember. I remember. Yeah, I can't remember where they fell in the coaches poll today. They may have 20.
Well, in the top 25 AP poll, they're at 10, and they're at 10 in the coaches.
Okay, well, I was thinking about
So number
somebody
10.
else, and so they didn't drop. They didn't drop
Well,
much in.
USC took their second loss. They're at 24. Oh my
That's what I'm
gosh.
saying. They see that's who I was thinking about USC instead of Penn State. Yeah, I knew one of them fell plumb out of the top 20, and it was USC. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself, well, I mean, I don't know. I guess they looked at that Penn State game as a more credible game than what the USC game was. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Let's see. Michigan, Penn State. I don't believe Penn State can beat them. I don't believe they can beat Michigan myself. I don't. They might. I don't think so. Michigan looks pretty good, man. They look to me they look better than they've looked in a long time.
They do. I mean, I think, I don't think Georgia's going to three-peat. And I know people want to say, you're crazy. You don't listen to me. You know how hard that is? Georgia's going to have that game this year in the playoffs. Because let's face it, they're going to the playoffs. But the semifinals or the national title, if they face a Florida State or a Michigan or Washington or whoever, they're going to get a run for their money.
Yeah, I think they'll get tested somewhere this year. Well, they've been tested. Auburn tested them.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to
I
admit
had in
that,
the
but
offseason. Yeah.
yeah, they did. So
In the offseason, I picked Tennessee to beat them. That might be my big mistake of the offseason.
I don't know. Tennessee's deep. I don't know. Alabama was just so flat the first half. It was just like they were sleepwalking or something, man. I don't know. That halftime speech must have really pulled up a halftime speech then.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you go in there down 20-7 at the half, that don't look too good, Chris.
No, I don't.
Nah, but they won. I mean, that's all that counts. So anyway, another win for the good guys, I guess, and maybe the weather will be good for the LSU game. I don't know what is the time on the LSU game. If they made their minds up, it's going to be 2:30. Going to be a ESPN night game. Have they done scheduled it? I know
I
as
don't
of last week.
I don't know if they have the time yet. Is it gonna be a night game like traditionally? ESPN um doesn't have a time for it. So I can close some of these tabs. I'm slowing down a bit. Hope y'all can still hear me. What's up, Nate? How you doing? I'm gonna drop that link one more time. Y'all want to come in here? Okay, my computer's working. That's good. That's good. Okay.
Cutting in and out, you still hear me? Am I still with you?
I hear you now. I don't know if you were talking and I just couldn't hear you for a bit, but
Yeah, I was looking to see what time looking to see if they put a time up for the LSU game, and still hadn't put a time up for it yet.
no. I think we could predict those though. I think LSU could be a night game, or it could even be a 3:30 SEC on CBS. But I'll tell you one thing, man. This will be the last time for a while. But that Iron Bowl, I think, is going to be the 3:30 slot. And then next year, when we have the SEC on ESPN, you might see it go back to being a night game or a noon game or whatever. I mean, it could still be like 3:30. It just won't be CBS.
No, Auburn. I think Alabama and LSU will grab the main spot. I mean, that'll be the game to watch, because if Alabama takes LSU, they've won the West. It's over.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
over. Yeah. I mean, they
I
don't have to
know.
beat Auburn. They don't have to beat Auburn to win the West. All they got to do is beat LSU, and it's over with.
What other SEC game could you put on the CBS network? I guess you could put, Missouri and Georgia play that weekend. That could be the 2:30 game if they put us at night.
That could be one of
Texas
those.
A&M and Ole Miss play.
That could be one of those. Sometimes CBS will have them, what I call them, double headers. They'll do it twice a year, where they'll have a
Oh
2:30.
yeah,
Yeah, they could do that. It could be another double header for CBS. Yeah,
it could be. Yeah, it really could be.
yeah. I don't know who they'd be putting in. Could be Alabama, LSU, and Georgia, Mizzou. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see, man. There's still a lot of football to play yet, Chris. A lot of stuff to be hashed out. I want to see.
Yeah.
Auburn don't have anything. Every week I keep watching Auburn. It sort of eases my mind that Alabama will probably kill Auburn, but it still runs through the back of your mind when you go down there to Jordan Harris. It's just a hard place to play. I don't know.
No, it is. It's a very hard place to play, and I think that Alabama just has to get used to going on the road and handling the crowd noise, which they've done well so far this year. They have, but like even for Jalen Milroe, like
Oh,
listen, he's going to face a tough test when it comes time for that Iron Bowl. He's really going to get a taste of the SEC on the road if he hasn't already. What's up, Jacob?
yeah,
You knew
they
who
hate
it
it.
was.
Of course, I know who it is. You want to know my secret?
What's the profile
I clicked the
pic?
three. I click the three dots on your name, and it tells me what YouTube account is using this.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Secrets out, dummy.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, y'all chop it up. I'm gonna finish watching this debate. Maybe the Eagles can win. I don't know. I hope the Rangers make it to the World Series, because they've never done it, and I can't pull for Houston. I'd rather pull for the Texas Rangers. Nolan Ryan used to play with them.
I can't stand. Ever since that 2017 scandal nonsense, man, and they even admitted to 2019 they were trying to steal signs. I can't pull for the Astros ever again. I just can't. I'm sorry.
I'm just glad we beat them.
So,
I'm just glad the Braves beat them.
Yeah, I hope the Rangers. I hope the Rangers can make it. And like you said, it'll be an all red. I guess championship. I don't know, whatever you know. I guess major league.
I think of all the teams, all the teams, because my grandfather's a Philly guy, I'm pulling for the Phillies. Bryce Harper's great. He needs one.
The Braves couldn't do nothing with them. They stomped the Braves' guts out. They done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the Braves would have won the World Series this year the way they were playing earlier in the year. I don't know what they done. They look like.
See, but here's the thing, though, man. Here's the thing: is how often do you see those great teams that end up winning it all like that? You rarely do. So reality kind of set in for the Braves, I think, this year. Not that they aren't a team that could do it. It was reality that you are hunted, and there's teams out there that just want to get a piece of that World Series trophy.
Oh yeah.
And here they are. They get knocked out in the divisional round. It happens.
Well, I don't know. Well, they didn't make it. I mean, anyway, I was hoping for high hopes, as the old saying used to go, but it didn't count any. So anyway, they're gone. So maybe we'll be around next year to see what takes place. I don't know, maybe they'll be a little more sound. And I don't know what took them down. Like you said, I guess I don't know. Reality set in. I don't know. Their pitching wasn't as good. They wasn't hitting the long ball either. I mean, I don't know. They choked all the way around the way I look at it. I may be wrong, but I don't know. They just choked on everything.
That's true, man.
Yeah, but anyway. All right, you cats. All right, enjoy your bye week. And who does Georgia play this week? Who y'all play this week? Tennessee?
We play Florida. Yep.
Florida. Florida ain't got nothing, so I mean,
Yeah. Rivalry game. Gotta be ready.
You gotta be careful.
Hardest thing for y'all to do would be to go down there and just make the trip down the stadium would be
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, how long did they say Bauer's supposed to be out? The rest of the season, 2 or 3 weeks? What did they say about him?
They said 4 to 6 weeks.
I don't know.
Yep. So it's already been a week, so 3 to 5 weeks now.
Y'all depended on.
He should be back in time for.
Yeah,
he should be back just in time for Tennessee, then, right?
No, we hope so. I mean, I think so. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, I guess 3 to 5 weeks. Yep. You got to put that 5 weeks in there though. Now he's in the doctor's hands, so them coaches, there's nothing they can do about it. He can't go back out there. Those doctors tell him he can.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's any college football team. I don't care who it is. When you get hurt like that, you're not released till that doctor says you're released. And I mean, Tua went through it. Jalen went through it. I mean, I don't know how many guys had that tightrope surgery against Alabama, but I don't know. Georgia depended on Brock Bowers like Alabama depended on Jamison Williams and Mechie. And when those two guys went down, Alabama couldn't beat anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
We got some other good players and obviously a great defense, but Bowers, he's definitely our best one.
You can't lose a guy like him, just like Alabama couldn't lose Jamison Williams and John Mechie in the championship game. It'd have been a different song and dance. When you lose guys like that, I mean, those guys they're just top notch players, and when it just hurts the team. I don't know. I don't care who it is. It don't matter.
Yeah, Georgia had some injuries in that championship game too, and we had to get through it as well.
Well, here's the thing that I'll say, right? These guys practice all week, all year, all month, all season, even the backups. And what's the backup's job? Prepare as if you're a starter. So you go out there, and when you're called, you got to answer and you got to deliver for your team. So, like, there should be no excuse. Oh, we lost a player. Like, I know you're not making excuses, Waylon, but like you're making points of like what had happened. But like for any team out there that says we got hurt, like, I'm throwing the flag on that one.
I mean, I agree. If we lose, we can't point to the Brock Bowers injury. It's our job to win without him.
Yeah, you got you picked up
The
that
big-
Oscar Delp, and then who's your other tight end? Lad McConkey, I think, or
He's a
whoever.
wide receiver. He's a wide receiver.
Who am I thinking of? You have who am
I
I
don't,
thinking of? That's
Oscar.
the is it Delp?
I mean, Oscar Delp's the backup. Yeah.
yeah, dope's
Okay.
the back. Yeah, I mean, I don't care what they say. You,
Hold on. Did he just say dope or Delp?
I called him dope. Is what I call him. I mean, I, I'm talking. I'm talking like Uncle Lou. That's how Uncle Lou would say. It's what he say. I
That's
mean,
funny.
I don't care what they
Oh wow.
losing guys like that, losing guys like Alabama lost in that championship game, and losing guys like Bowers going out. I mean,
Whoa.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's hard to replace those guys, dude.
Howard, you saw that?
The
Yeah.
pick? Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, wow.
I got it.
Jeez.
What's the baseball scores? Ain't it? What's the final on the baseball?
Let me pull that back up. I closed ESPN real quick.
Did Houston? If Houston won tonight, they're in the World Series,
Yeah.
right? Which I hope they
Let me
don't.
see.
Screw Dusty Baker. Excuse my English.
For 4-2 Rangers.
Well, I guess we're going to a game 7.
Rangers out. We gotta be. It's end of the 8th.
Yeah.
Unless Houston pulls something in the 9th inning, which I don't know if I mean the pitching tonight for the Rangers has been spot on.
Yeah, that's one thing you say about the Rangers through the years. They've had some good pitchers. I remember them. I've been watching baseball a long time, longer than y'all have. They've always had a good pitching crew. But anyway, maybe the Rangers will pull it out. We'll see. And nobody wants the Diamondbacks there. Everybody hates them, so I don't really care anything about them either. But I'm gonna pull for the Rangers. You're gonna pull for the Phillies, Chris. Is what you're gonna do.
If they meet in the World Series, man, let's talk it up a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. It won't really matter to me which one wins or loses, but we can make it sound good anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, all right, you cats, stay safe, and y'all won't have no trouble against Florida. I mean, I don't
I agree. Or
know. I don't know. I don't think you have no. I don't know. They're saying the next game might be Ole Miss. I just don't see Ole Miss beating Georgia. I don't see nobody competing with Georgia the SEC championship game or into the playoffs. Somebody might bite them on the ass in, but I mean, till then, I doubt it. Very doubt it.
yeah, Georgia.
I doubt
They're
it.
the standard right now.
Alabama and them go head to head in the SEC championship game again. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Alabama's going to have to show up. They can't play like they played Saturday.
You know who can? You know who can beat Georgia this year? Honestly,
Who? Who?
Marvin Harrison Jr. if he's healthy.
Yeah.
You gotta have more than that. Gotta have more than that.
I don't know a few elite players. Georgia's like Alabama. They've lost some players the last couple of years. They're not what they were, but they still got a good football team. But I don't know. College football's crazy. I mean, I don't know. You know, Alabama may go down to Auburn and get the crap beat out of them. I saw it happen before. I hope not. But anyway, I mean, if they do, there ain't nothing you can do about it. But anyway, whatever. Y'all exposed Kentucky for us, so we know they don't have anything. We know what they got.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy game there.
I mean, they're nothing.
They
But
might
anyway,
have us. They might get us on the first play if we throw an incompletion in that game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it.
I mean, what was I gonna say? Georgia, they're not playing as well versed as lesser teams, but in a semi big game or a big game, they'll show up. And that's just what they've been doing, like last 2 years, I'd say. More this year.
I don't know what Alabama's holding. I think Alabama's holding some cards. If they was making it, they're not showing all their offense. And I
Well,
hope
I'll
they're
tell you this. Think about our roster and how Alabama's structured right now. They're not even playing the most talented guys on the field every week. Like they're playing talented guys. There's
you
a lot of guys in that back room that they could pull at any second.
oh yeah.
They could build off of it.
I mean, you can, but you got to evaluate them. You got to develop them. I mean, you can't
Right. But I'm
just
saying,
you can't
think
you
about
know.
look, we're halfway through the season. We're halfway through the season. At this point, if they're not even developed in practice, something is going on. That's wrong. But I mean,
I mean,
like
you
what if
gotta.
we get to the Iron Bowl? Here's a scenario. We get to the Iron Bowl. Jalen Milroe is going to be the quarterback. That's fine. What if Justice Haynes is going to be the running back and he just runs all over Auburn?
I don't. I
Hypothetically
mean,
speaking.
He could. I mean, he's that good. Offensive line got to open some holes up for him. Auburn's that bad, but Auburn, like I've always said to them, they'll play Alabama to the death. I mean, they're like Chinese and Japanese sword fighting. They're going to fight to the they're going to have they're going to have an honorable death. They're going to go down honorably. Is what they're going to do. I believe against Alabama. I think Alabama
I'm,
can beat them, but I think they'll play them some.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Iron Bowl this year is going to be like Bear Bryant versus Jordan. A lot of runs, physical football. I think that's the Iron Bowl this year.
Well, that's just what's going to help is Auburn sold out their stadium this year, and it's going to be packed, bro. And if you
I
don't
mean,
think Hugh Freeze knows how to beat Nick Saban, he's beat Nick Saban twice. We're crying out
yeah,
loud, like
yeah. I mean, I'm really excited for the Iron Bowl. I'm more excited for it than I've been in the last 3 years.
yeah.
So,
Freeze
although
may have beat Saban twice, but he had a little more talent at Ole Miss. What he's got at Auburn.
yeah, that is true. But I mean, Auburn,
But the Auburn fans are disgruntled. If you get on the war room and the war report, uh, they're saying, they're saying they don't understand why they even hired him. Only thing on his resume was he beat Nick Saban twice, and they're right. That's all he's ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty good. He was pretty good at Liberty as well. So,
He was, but what does that have to do with the SEC? In fact, I said Hugh Freeze coming back to the SEC will be great to see, and yeah, he's used to it. But how do you transition from Liberty? And I can't even think off the top of my head their conference, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the competition is a whole nother level in the SEC, and it has changed a lot since he was at Ole Miss.
I mean, I say this about every first year coach. You got to give them the first year. After that, fine.
Right.
Say what you want about them, but you got to give them the first year. That's what I say about every coach. With Kirby and Saban, it's like, okay, give them the first year. After that, it's go time.
Yeah.
Because the first, that being said, though, I mean, he did pick up, some players in the portal. It looked like, Auburn could win probably, 7, 8 games this year. I still think they can, but, they've had, a couple of close losses. And obviously the LSU game, that was, disaster. But
Yeah.
they almost beat us. I mean, I know that.
If they almost beat Georgia, that has me more worried about when they play Alabama, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I, I, I'll be, I won't
Yeah.
say it like that. I'll be shocked. I'll say shocked if it's not a close Iron Bowl this year. And I love a good close game that has you on the edge of your seat in a rivalry like that. But also you want to dominate. So I'm kind of on both sides of the field there with it. Like, I don't know what I want, man. I just want Alabama to win. If they could come away with a victory, it'd be good.
I mean, Auburn's already got 4 losses. So they gotta start, in their case, they got to start winning more. I mean, but
They
I
just
mean,
got
they
to try to
played.
make a. If they
They,
what's their how many more?
I think they're
We got
was
like
it
over
3-4? I think it's 3-4, something like that. I mean,
Oh,
they played some really good teams. I mean, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. But I mean, in the SEC, you have to win some of
and
those
they played them
games.
all. And they played them all pretty close. Pretty
Well, not
much.
LSU. Not LSU.
Yeah. Man. LSU
And
might be
Texas
the best
A&M.
SEC team. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kidding.
I mean,
Okay,
but here's
let me
the
read this out. Let me read this out. Go ahead and finish, and then we'll get to Auburn again.
the reality is that you got to beat somebody good. Yes, they're good teams, but you got to beat good teams. I mean, it's the SEC. I mean, that's what you got to do. Stay in this conference. But it's his first year, so
Okay.
Good.
Here is Auburn's remaining schedule. Mississippi State at home, Vanderbilt on the road, Arkansas on the road, New Mexico State at home, then the Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare. You have 5 games left. You're sitting there with 3. You're sitting. Hold on. You're sitting there with 3 wins. If you win out, you have 8. But I don't think that's going to happen. So my question is, do they at least win 3 out of the 5 and get to a bowl?
So you said Mississippi State, New Mexico State, Vanderbilt, Alabama, and who's the other team?
Arkansas.
Arkansas. That's right. It's very possible they could go 4-1 in those games.
I'm not certain about Mississippi State and Alabama, but I think in those 3 games with Vandy, Arkansas, and New Mexico State, there's no reason they can't win those 3, right?
Now, and I'd be really surprised if they lose Mississippi State.
I would. I would.
I mean, I would be too, but the point being is they're set up to go bowling with Hugh Freeze in his first season.
Oh, they're going to go bowling.
If they go bowling, though, you play an opponent, and they're going to play one of the smaller schools and smaller whatever. Hugh Freeze wins a bowl game in his first year. Buddy, get ready.
It's almost certain, I think, that they're going to make a bowl game. I mean, I think so. But crazier things have happened. I mean, Mississippi State seems like a win. Arkansas seems like a win. New Mexico State, obviously, a win. And then, Vanderbilt, that seems like a win. And then Alabama, we'll see what happens there. It's possible they could lose to Mississippi State or Arkansas, but I doubt they lose both. I mean, I think they'll win both of those games. So,
Eric, how you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How you doing, man? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Hey, so I gave you a tied one yesterday.
Yeah, it was a close one, but they took care of it.
Yep. Yep, my Mizzou one yesterday too. I mean, I tell you, there was some a few scary moments in that second half, but they took care of business.
Yep.
you mean in the first half?
Now they get by, and then they have to go up to Athens.
You mean
you think they win that game?
Oh man, I don't know, buddy. I mean, I would absolutely love it, and I know Bowles is out. I know all that, but I don't see it because Georgia is still Georgia.
Oh wait, is he a Florida fan or what?
Missouri.
He's Missouri, I think. Missouri?
Yeah. Missouri. Oh, okay, Missouri.
Yep.
Okay.
Show me state.
Yep.
I think the Eagles just put the nail in the coffin on Miami.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like the Rangers are going to take it to Game 7, so I think they just put the nail in the coffin there too.
Cool. Yeah, 5-2 over the Astros. So
Yeah, they done scored another
Wow.
one.
Man,
Yeah.
I think that entire series has just been wild. Every single game has gone to the away team.
yeah,
Well, we were stuff that I want to talk about on here about is what do you think about Arkansas?
Well, you don't talk about that far.
no,
They ain't.
I'll say this.
He finna get
Sam
fired.
Pittman is a great guy. He's a nice person. You'd
Yeah.
love to interview him. You'd love to meet him, but he is not cut out for this, man.
Nope.
I mean, unless this is just a
I still look at it this way. It's possible you can keep him, but it's not looking good right now.
They just fired Dan Enos this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an attempt to say, okay, we're gonna try, we're gonna fire this guy so that we can try to make our last attempt, with Pittman.
I'll tell you what I think happening. I'll let y'all have it. I'm gonna get off here. If Sam was to lose his job and Wolford is as bad as the offensive line still is, they're all young now. Don't get me wrong. Alabama people don't realize Alabama has nothing but a bunch of high school kids on the offensive line. That's all they've got. You've got two seniors out of that whole bunch, and that's the damn center. And he can't even snap the ball. So I mean, I don't know if Nick Saban don't look at Sam Pittman as the offensive line coach. I don't know if he might move Wolford out and move Sam in. I don't know.
That actually would help a lot, though. Could you imagine? Man.
Yeah, but I mean, he was great for us. I think firing Dan Enos is saying, okay, give me one last shot. We'll get somebody else to run the offense. Just give me one last chance, and if he does decent his last 4 games, because if they do decent his last 4 games, he'll hire a new offense coordinator, and that'll be his last straw.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got Auburn. I think I looked at it's Auburn, Missouri, FIU, and Florida. I think he's got to at least win 2 of those games to have a shot, and even then, he still might get fired. So, here's the reality: he came into a disastrous situation.
Oh yeah.
And he won 3 SEC games his first year. He went 9-4 the next year, and then 6-7, and now they're 2-6. I mean, yes, yesterday's loss was inexcusable. You lost to Mississippi State, the worst and least talented team in the West, without their starting quarterback, who's been running air raid the last 3 years, and they don't have their starting quarterback, and you lost 7-3. You can't do that. That's just a loss that cannot happen, and it did. And those are losses that get coaches fired, especially when you're 2-6. You can't do that. So he could get fired, and I mean, he's gotta win some games. I'll say that.
Somebody
Gotta win some games.
You want to talk about winning some games here. I know the stretch for Auburn, but go back to Auburn for a second. If they don't beat Mississippi State this weekend, buddy, Hugh Freeze. I'm not saying he's out the door, but there's going to be questions to be answered.
I mean, there will be. I mean, he's not going to get fired for one. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
And to be honest with you, they can't really even afford to fire him year 2. I mean, they just fired Gus Malzahn and Brian Harsin. Can't really afford that. But I mean, So it feels like he's going to get at least 4 years because I mean I don't think they can't afford it. You can't afford to fire him year 1 or year 2 or even really year 3. You got 3. You got to give him 4 years, but so you're kind of stuck, kind of like Miami. They can't afford to fire Mario Cristobal. Not that he deserves to be fired, but they can't afford it. Right when they hired him, it's like, well, they fire coaches every 2 years, 3 years, but he gets paid too much. They can't fire him 2, 3 years. They got to give him a leash, and same with Auburn. So
yeah,
they'll go after that. They'll go after Auburn's offensive coordinator at Montgomery. Guy, I can't think of his first name. I know his last name's Montgomery. I think that's who they'll get first before they get probably.
Yeah. I mean that's literally how it always goes down. You get few years, couple years, you're not doing as well. Blame the offense coordinator. Then you get your shot to hire an offense coordinator. Then after that, the head coach starts getting questioned. I mean, it's what's happening at Florida. It's what happened at Texas A&M. I mean, it's the same routine.
All right, you cats. I got to get off here. Y'all wear it out. I'm gonna rest a couple of weeks. I'll still be watching college football on Saturday anyway, in case somebody in the top. I don't know. You don't ever know. There's still football to be played. There's still win or lose. Somebody, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Penn State. Does Penn?
yeah.
There's only who's left on Michigan's schedule to even test them. Penn State. Is that it? That's all that's left.
They got Ohio State, of course.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe Ohio State. They could lose both of those games. I don't know. You never know. Could happen.
I think Michigan's a really good team. I'm impressed by them. I mean, I know they haven't played anyone, but they're
the best team this year. I think they're the most complete.
Well,
I think Georgia.
No, go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think Georgia will beat them, but I mean they're elite. They're really good.
Did y'all watch the Washington game? They said how put together they were, how they struggled.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
yeah.
I mean, I kind of saw it coming because I was like, well, they just had that huge win over Oregon. They might struggle this game. I mean, I saw it coming. But
this is a good question to end it on. Who wins? I believe I'm going to throw Bo Nix as a Heisman Trophy winner this year. Who wins the Heisman Trophy? Bo Nix? I think he does.
Before the season, I said Bo Nix, and I have no reason to pick against that.
I believe he wins.
I love Bo Nix, but I'm changing it. I was high on Bo Nix, and I'm still high on him, but I got to say Michael Penix, man, he's balling out. I think he's got it.
I think it'll be the winner of the Pac-12 title. If Oregon wins it, Bo Nix will get it. If Washington wins it, Michael Penix will get it.
Right. Yeah.
That, and if another team wins. Yeah, USC, I got a lot of words for them. I mean, geez.
Go for it. Get after it.
I don't want to take up too much time, but either way, I mean, if neither of those teams win the Pac-12 title, you could look to Quinn Ewers, I guess, or just pick one of them.
I'll tell you where you got to be careful if you're Washington. If you're Washington, you got to go to USC on November 4th. That's 2 weeks from yesterday. And
right. No, I think. Go ahead.
No, that's all. That's all. I was trying to figure out what you were saying.
I was saying I think
they can still win. They can still win some football games. USC can. They're not a team like that scarier than sometimes a team that's won every football game. Sometimes the way I look at it. But I'll go.
I mean, okay, I'll talk about USC for a little bit. I've thought all year. I mean, I said it, on one of my community posts that I think they're the most overrated team in the country, and they're going to lose 4 or 5 games. 3 to 4, maybe 5 games. That's what I said. And I mean, it's proven to be true. It's the same thing every year with Lincoln Riley. Great offense, terrible defense. I mean, and their offensive line is terrible this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a great quarterback, great playmakers, terrible offensive line, terrible defense. He's too loyal. He can't recruit nor coach on defense, and his teams are woefully unprepared for big games. He can't win a big game. Those teams are woeful, and most of the big games, his team's the one that's more talented. I mean, it's just.
Oh, you're right. I agree 100% with you. Yeah, you're right. I mean, he went in there his first year and had a Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, I thought he done pretty good for his first year, but now look what's going on this year. I mean, it's just all falling to pieces. I said they'd lose 3 games. I don't live or die by points or stuff like that. It's just I think they'll probably lose another one, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. They'll probably lose another one, maybe 2, possibly 3 more. I mean, they're not, they're not a great team. I mean, they're good, but they're not great.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Washington. That's a loss. Who's the other one I was talking about? It was either like Oregon or Oregon State, something like that. That's a loss. And then UCLA could be a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they play Oregon? I don't know. It was Oregon or Oregon State from what I remember. But either way, they'll lose.
They play Oregon State, I think, instead of Oregon. I think it's Oregon State, I believe.
Yeah, Oregon State. Yeah, I think they'll lose that one, and then UCLA could be a loss. I mean, like Lincoln Riley, you got to make some changes. You can't continue this.
He doesn't care for defense. He doesn't know defense. He don't care for defense. He just doesn't, like.
And it's crazy as it sounds. It's not. This wouldn't happen this would be down the road if it does happen. But I mean, eventually, if he doesn't make changes, he's going to get fired because USC is not going to play around with that. I mean,
They got the money to hire, and they got the money in Southern California too. They can hire and fire whoever they want to.
Yeah, I mean, it would be down the road, but I mean, if he continues not winning big games, his defense is being terrible, USC is just gonna be like, okay, we're gonna fire you. Don't go. Because they can pick anybody they want to. They're USC.
Sure, they can. Yeah.
I mean, they're not gonna shy away from that.
Right.
It just. And eventually, the athletic director's like, okay, look, you're going to have to fire Alex Grinch, or you're going to be the next one gone.
That's true. That's true.
I mean,
it all rolls downhill. I mean, like you said, you fire the offensive coordinator first, and then you get a chance to hire a good offensive coordinator. I wish Nick would after Lincoln Riley. I don't know why. I don't know if he didn't talk to him. I think he probably did. I just don't think Riley wanted the job. He wanted to be his own man, but I think he'd have fit a lot better at Alabama right now, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln Riley, he wants to be a head coach.
Definitely, he's like, he's just like, there's a lot of them. I mean, you just like you said, you ain't gonna need to take 2 or 3 hours calling names, but.
I mean, Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin.
I mean,
that's how it works.
Alabama, I know enough about Alabama. Alabama will not hire Lane Kiffin as the head coach of University of Alabama. They're not. I still know enough people on the board of trustees that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it works. Your coordinator gets good. He start getting national attention as head coach. He gets hired, and there you go. Got to hire another coordinator. That's just how it works. Schools like Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah. And I mean, somebody said the other day, how does Texas A&M pay, Jimbo that money? People have to understand that all of those guys are super billionaires. And there's not just one of them. There's sacks full of them. There's sacks full of them. You just dump them out, man. One billionaire oil man, they'll write him a check and show him exit, stage left. And that'll be the end of that. That'll be all of it. And they'll go hire somebody else the next day, because when everybody's worth 40, 50, 60 billion dollars each, what the fuck, excuse me, Chris, what the hell is $71 million? If I'm worth $65 billion, you think I'm gonna worry about 71 million?
Yeah, I mean, Well, I mean, Auburn, they probably would have fired Malzahn earlier had it not been for the buyout. So the buyout does have an effect.
I think they made a mistake letting Malzahn go. I mean, call me crazy, but he had some good seasons in there. Like,
The thing,
I know they're looking for consistency with somebody, but like at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I knew he wasn't
the
going to
thing,
get the title.
the thing that got him fired, number one, he went 6-5. Number two, he had an awful recruiting class coming in the next year. I think that's what got him fired. His recruiting class was like he only had like 11 players. Like it was really bad. So I think that's what sent him out the door.
I know those guys in Auburn. I know a lot of them down there, and you've got about 4 or 5 billionaires down there that run that program. I'm not going to call their names on YouTube because I wouldn't want them calling my name. But they had the money. They had it. I know 2 of them personally. I know 2 of them that owns a state. And that's the yellow man, and the other one is the region's back. So that's chicken feed to them.
Well, not all of their money is going to go to not all of their money goes to the university. So I still think, I mean, the buyout does have an effect, but
it has an effect.
When you can pay it,
you can't. And I know guys that knows guys. When Deion Sanders went to Colorado, it's still telling me that Colorado didn't have the money to pay his contract when they hired him. And these guys are filthy rich, so they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's possible,
I don't know. I had them horse laugh me when I told them that, but I know guys that know people out there that know them well, and I mean they got a good credit line, but I mean they didn't have that kind of money to pay Deion Sanders. They may have it in a couple of years. I don't know what he worked out with them. That's between him and his banker and his tax man and them. Whatever.
And if I'm being honest right now, I don't think A&M does have 77 million for Jimbo. I mean, they have 77 million, but they don't have it, where they can use it to fire Jimbo. So they're probably going to keep him and roll with him next year.
He's gone. I put it to you this way, son. The school doesn't have that much money to cough up. They've got it. Who's going to pay him is going to be, like I told you, those guys, those boosters that are filthy billionaires. That's who's going to pay his price tag. The school ain't going to. It ain't going to cost the school nothing.
Yeah, I mean, well, the billionaires, they got to,
sure,
got to find 77 million if you want to fire them. And
they'll find it. They'll find it. Watch what I'm telling you. I'm not calling you a liar, but at the end of the year, Jimbo Fisher's gone. They'll cut him a check like LSU cut Ed Orgeron a check, and Jimbo will be gone. You'll never hear nothing else about him. And that's the position he wanted. And I don't blame him. When you're in that position, you got to agree with me here too. To be a good businessman, you got to have a good head on you. I'd want a big contract too, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, Jimbo's winning either way. He's getting 77 million.
That's right.
I mean, he's winning either way.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't care if they fire him or keep him. In my opinion, if you want my opinion, I hope they keep him.
Yeah.
He ain't worth a flip. I mean, keep him. Malzahn had the best record against Alabama. What other Auburn coach had a better record against Alabama than Pat Dye did?
Yeah. And Pat Dye was a legend.
Yeah.
No, I
I mean,
think
people forget.
uh,
But I was born back in. I remember it. I was alive. Y'all don't. But like I'm saying, I remember those statistics, and that's just the way. Gus Malzahn had a better record, and Pat Dye did against Alabama.
I thought Pat Dye was 6-6, but
Him and Malzahn. They're running close there. You can look it up, but their records are pretty close. Look it up, Chris. Now, they're not too far apart there. There's not a whole lot of distance in it.
Yeah.
but either way, it's super close. But
Yeah.
so, but I mean, I've defended Jimbo in some earlier years, but at this point, I mean, look, it's put up or shut up. You got to win games. I mean, you've been there 6 years with 5 full recruiting classes. One of those classes they spent $30 million. You got out and hired an offensive coordinator.
Right.
You got you got the best wide receiving core in the SEC. You got, possibly the best D line in the SEC. What else do you want?
Think about what you said there a while ago, and you was worried about them paying Fisher. You said they went out and spent, those boosters already went out and spent $30 million on them players.
Yeah. I mean,
So that tells you they got more money than they got sense to start with. And and it still hasn't worked. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think he's fired. I think he's done.
it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he cost them the Alabama game. I mean, with better coaching, I know y'all are both Alabama fans, but I think with better coaching, A&M would have won. So that's on him, I think.
Yeah, probably right.
Yeah, you're probably
right.
Yeah, he shit the bed. Excuse my English again. Yeah, they look bad. This coaching looks bad. Sure does.
There's not many other changes you can make.
Look at Tommy Reese's play calling Alabama's offensive coordinator. He don't look too hot myself. I saw a lot better offensive coordinators than him. I saw Alabama fire better offensive coordinators than what he is.
Yeah, I mean,
People made fun of Jim McElwain. They made fun of what was that other one's name? Right on the edge of my tongue. Those guys, I mean, all of those guys, I would take any of those over Tommy Reese right now, unless Reese is hiding, if Alabama's playing that vanilla and beating teams just by playing one half of football, and they put a 4-quarter football game together, I don't think he's hiding that kind of talent, that kind of scoring power. That'd be awful hard to hide, but
yeah, you can't hide the way Alabama's hiding. I mean, the way Alabama's winning games, they're not hiding anything. They're trying to win those games.
Yeah, he's I mean, and I'm not knocking Reese. That's his first year down there, and I'm a young guy, and I think that's what Saban wanted, a young guy down there. Maybe I don't know, teach him and maybe put him in a position he left, he might be able to take that team. But I mean, the stumbles, dabbles, and I still wind up in the SEC 5 years or less. I know they'll be in the SEC. State will too. Does Dabo come back to Alabama now since he's fell on his face now? This season he's had at Clemson.
Well, let me ask y'all this: would y'all want Dabo?
Except for losing to Alabama 2 championship games. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, he's an Alabama graduate. He was taught by Coach Stallings. It was taught by Coach Bryant and all the old guys. So I mean, it runs downhill, and they learned him the same thing they got learned. So yeah, I'd take him in a heartbeat over a lot of other people. Sure would.
Well, yeah, I think he's a good coach, but his programs, it's decreasing. It's not necessarily like falling apart, but it's not, it's declining, and
You know what? I don't know if y'all thought about it. What has kept him going the last years he's been at Clemson? What did he have to keep him going, to keep his offense and keep his game going? What position? What player? What?
I mean, it goes back to that.
Quarterback.
Trevor
You know,
Lawrence.
I mean, this is why Clemson did. You know, he was very fortunate. You know, Clemson got ahead of the game with facilities, which gave him the opportunity to recruit better. He got 2 generational quarterbacks. He's been
That's right.
blessed, I think, and you know, ever since then, I mean, not that he's been terrible without those 2 generational quarterbacks, but he's not been at the same that he was with them. I mean, no playoff appearances without him.
No, I mean, he's had a lot. I mean, he's had the great quarterback. I don't know. He's had some other good players on the teams too. Yeah, he had some good players on different sides.
Yeah, I mean,
they're gone.
Yeah, I mean, last year they had arguably the best D line in the country. I mean, you know, this year too, you know, they still got a really good D line, and you got some great running backs. You know, but I mean, and look what he did. He went out and hired an offense coordinator.
Oh,
you know, got a 5-star quarterback. So,
well,
you know,
he got one Alabama's transfer portal quarterback. Coach Bryant's great grandson, Paul Tyson's up there with him. He left Alabama and went to Arizona State and left Arizona State, and then he's at Clemson now. So
all about him.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with Clemson. They don't use the portal like they should. I mean, they have way too many holes to just not be using the portal. I mean, their offensive line's not good. Their receivers aren't good. Their DBs aren't that good. I mean, too many holes.
I mean, you kind of see a decline in their recruiting over the past few years because of how they've fallen off in coaching. They used to be the critical problem. They used to have those elite DBs that could hit you hard in the mouth. And
yeah.
You used to have that, man. Like the best thing they got on defense right now, I give props to them. I got to meet him. Peter Woods, man. That's it. That's what they got.
All right. You too. I'm gonna watch his own here, the local news. Some of these some of these local guys do this on 3340. So all right, you cats take it easy. On down the road again, Valor. When you get a chance to do another live, I'll try to jump on or something if I get a chance. Man, don't work yourself to death, okay?
All right. Thanks, Waylon. Love you, brother.
All right, man. Be good. Go Dogs.
Yeah. See ya.
Wait a minute. Did he just say that as a Bama?
I think No. I think maybe he was saying "see ya, Go Dogs" or something like that. Because
I think the audio cut out though. That's a
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on here. I get what he's saying about the boosters and all that, but I still don't think that all that money goes to A&M. So it's still hard to find 77 million. I think I could be wrong, but that's how I see it.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see this Dolphins game?
Oh yeah.
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 Eagles, they stopped that run. I mean, let me get your input on this. Do you think Sam Pittman's going to be fired?
Who?
Do you think Sam Pittman's going to be fired?
Oh yeah. Yeah. He went from winning 6 or 7 games in a bowl, and now he's just falling off. I mean, only 2 or 3 wins right now. It's terrible, man.
Yeah, I love Sam Pittman, but can't lose games to Mississippi State like that. Yeah, I was talking with Carolina Jackpot earlier. He's upset with South Carolina's coaching. Say the least. He's furious. I mean, he went off on them. I talked to him on the call and show.
I gotta call back into their show sometime, man. Just been so
I
busy
mean,
with work.
I think
Yeah.
Beamer's a good coach, but I mean, he just hired a new offense coordinator, got some good wide receivers, got some playmakers, got a good quarterback, got some good DBs. I mean, it's the same thing every year of South Carolina: bad offensive line, bad run defense. I mean, there's not much else to it. It's the same thing this year. You hired an offense coordinator. Now you end up being worse. I mean, if you look at the Will Muschamp era and you look at the Shane Beamer era, not much is different. A promising first year, then a really good second year that you thought, you could build on, and then third year was disappointing.
Yeah.
And in Will Muschamp's case, fourth and fifth year, they completely fell off and became a disaster. Not saying that's what's going to happen to Shane Beamer, but I mean, Carolina Jackpot, he made a good point. I asked him what changes need to happen because they're 2-5 at this point, and he said that they need to look into their strength and conditioning program. He said because guys keep getting injured, and he said that they're not physical.
Yeah.
They have a major physicality issue, which they do. They've had that ever since Steve Spurrier has left. They're not going to fire Shane Beamer.
No.
Because one bad year. Okay, now if he's let's just say he finishes 4-8 this year, whatever, right? And he's bad again, has a bad year again next year. Yeah, they'll probably fire him. If he can turn this around to 6-6, 7-5, possibly. Then even if he does that again next year, they could give him another year like they did with Will Muschamp. But I mean, can you pull up the remaining schedule
For Arkansas?
South Carolina?
South Carolina. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You sound tired.
Yeah, I'm getting there, but we'll look at this real quick.
Yeah. The Falcons won. Hey, they beat the Bucks.
Shut up.
On the road. It was a great win. What?
All right, call them out. Call them out. Wins and losses. They play at Kyle Field this week.
Oh, that's a loss. I mean, that text. Okay, yeah. That's a win.
Vandy.
I can't guarantee a win there. I mean, Vandy could legitimately beat them.
2-5. God, this is poverty.
But
Kentucky.
It's at home, so I'll pick Carolina. Kentucky, I think, is a loss. Clemson's a loss.
So you gave them 2 extra wins?
Yeah, so 4-8.
Gosh, 4-8. Oh my god.
I mean, it's possible they can be 3-9. Now, what I was going to say, if he could win, if he can make a ball game this year, then he can possibly have 2 more years after that. But if he misses the ball game, it's 1 year, and if he doesn't do well, he's done. I mean, I'll just you play Georgia close, and then you don't. How do you play Georgia close, and then lose to all these other teams? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, when you play Georgia close, that told you that you got some players. Like, you played North Carolina close. Well, you were in the game. They got players. I mean, if you look at their losses, they were North Carolina, then Georgia, Missouri, Florida. How'd they lose that Florida game? Jeez. Can't, and then they lost to Tennessee. they got blown out by Tennessee and Missouri, and Florida came back on them. I mean, their losses are really frustrating. I'm sure for South Carolina fans. I've seen them this year. They're not the coaches are failing them. I mean, from what I've seen,
Yeah.
And you lose Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler's been good for him, and you lose him. That's you better find somebody as good as him.
They won't.
Or else you're not. If you don't, well, if they don't, then Beamer's going to get fired.
I don't want to. I don't. Does anyone actually dislike Beamer? Like, I think he's a great guy. Like, you want to see him have success.
I do too. He's a great guy.
You have to be a good coach. You have to be a good coach, though.
Well, I mean, these universities are not paying you millions of dollars a year to be a great guy. I mean, they're paying you millions of dollars millions of dollars a year to win football games, and that's just the truth.
Yeah.
Maybe it will work out. I mean, it's possible it could salvage this year, maybe, and be decent next year, and build on that. It's possible. Is it? I mean, the SEC is tough, and it's only going to get tougher with Texas and Oklahoma coming in.
Right.
I don't even know how these other programs are going to survive. I really don't. It's literally going to be hell for them. So, Cody Aikens asked you a question in the comment section.
What do I think about Jalen and Tua playing against each other for the first time? I thought they did great. Thought they did good tonight, and it was cool to see them both out on the field. It's kind of hard to pick which one you want to pull for, but I'm more of a Jalen Hurts guy anyway.
Tua had a rough night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought, I'm not going to even lie to you, I thought the Dolphins were going to win. But, as far as it goes for Alabama, great win Saturday. Got to give y'all credit.
Yeah.
Had me in the first half. You got to buy a week in LSU. If you beat LSU, you'll win the West. If you lose to LSU, it'd technically be a 3-way tie between you, LSU, and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think it'll come down to the highest ranked team, which if Ole Miss wins out, it'd be them because they only have one loss. Bama and LSU have two. So, what do you think about LSU? Let me ask.
They got to play some defense, man. They help.
I think
which is weird.
I think
which is weird to say about a team that claims to be DBU.
Oh yeah, that their DB is not good. But I mean, I think this. I think the game's lower scoring. I think Alabama wins. Game's higher scoring. I think LSU wins. I think that's for Alabama. You want to keep it lower scoring. Your LSU, you want to get up there in points, higher scoring. And in the middle, then it's kind of 50-50 for me. They're two evenly matched teams. The LSU's defense has been playing better. They played well against Auburn, and for what it's worth, they played great against Army. For what it's worth, So, I mean, we'll see. tough. I think LSU will win, but Alabama could they could definitely beat them. You know. Before the season, I was a little more confident that LSU would win. Now looking at it 2 weeks away, I had a little less confidence, but I feel like LSU is still going to win. But it's all because of these last 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks ago, LSU was looking they were not looking good at all. That defense was horrible, but
oh yeah.
Man, what if it does come down to a 3-way tie? Wouldn't that be something? The last year of the SEC West.
Has it ever happened?
In the SEC, I don't think so. No. But it happened to the Big 12. 2008, Oklahoma, Texas, and Texas Tech. Oklahoma ended up being the highest ranked team, so they went to the Big 12 title, and they won that game and played Florida in the national title.
Yep.
Texas would beat Florida. Oklahoma beat Texas Tech. Texas Tech beat Texas. So, but here's the thing, though. I think it will really come down to the Alabama LSU game, probably, because let's just be real here. Ole Miss is probably not going to win out. I mean that. Could they go 11-1? Sure, but it's unlikely. I think. I mean, do you agree or?
Oh yeah, fully agree with you.
I mean, Ole Miss going 11-1. When has that ever happened?
Never.
1960. I mean, who? You never know though. Crazy things has happened. If they do win out and LSU beats Alabama, it would be a 3-way tie. And Ole Miss would win that because they'd be the highest ranked team. Because Alabama and LSU have a non-con loss. It's important for, and then, if Auburn beats Alabama, then,
Ole Miss will win.
Yeah, Ole Miss will win the West. And, but I mean, here's the thing. If Alabama wins Saturday, well, no, they don't play Saturday. They win 2 weeks from now, they got the West pretty much locked up. Because they'd have to lose 2 more games, and that's just not going to happen. I think it's possible Auburn can beat them, but it would matter if they beat LSU.
Yeah.
Then they got Georgia. I got to be honest about it. I'm kind of Alabama to, I don't want to play against Georgia. I'm just going to be honest here. I feel like we're waiting. Because, last year was a great opportunity to put the nail in the coffin on the Georgia. To get there, so no. That's just being honest. But it will be 2024. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, you got the SEC West race, the Big Ten East race, 12 race, ACC, and then Big 12. Well, I mean, Big 12 is between Texas and Oklahoma, so that's not really. It's more like Big 12 title game. Well, the ACC, that got shook up this weekend.
Yeah, it did. I still think Florida
North Carolina
State.
lost. Yeah, you're right about Florida State. I was wrong about Clemson. But Duke got their first ACC loss. North Carolina got their first ACC loss. Clemson got their third ACC loss.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're pretty much out of it. I do think the transfer portal is probably the main issue. But, I mean, in my opinion, there's more to that. Clemson's got the most talented team in the ACC, and they're not even going to make it to the ACC title game. They've lost 3 ACC games. They probably have a losing record in the ACC so far this year.
Yeah.
I think they do. I mean, it's more than that, I think. And maybe Dab was just overrated. I've kind of felt that way. Over the last few years, he hasn't done too much outside of the Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence era. I mean, he won the ACC in 2013. He won the ACC in 2022. He won a new BCS Bowl in 2013, and he got to a New Year's Six Bowl in 2022, right? But besides that, I mean, it hasn't been as good, and the thing is, everything else has fallen off. I mean, your defense hasn't been good without Brent Venables. Your team hasn't been as good. Your offense hasn't been close to as good without your generational quarterbacks. For some reason, your wide receivers aren't as good. I don't even know where that came from. Like, why are their wide receivers all of a sudden not good? Where'd that even come from? They had elite wide receiver after elite wide receiver. Now their wide receivers are not good at all. I mean, where'd that even come from? Their offensive lines they've never been known for their offensive lines, but now they're just really bad. And then their DBs used to be their strength of their defenses. Well, not strength, but they used to be really good, and now they've fallen off.
Yeah. Well, it's almost 11 o'clock here, man. We got to shut her down for the night and get some rest.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you get some sleep now. Can't wait for next week. I'm going to be watching the 49ers Vikings game tomorrow, but yeah. Enjoy talking to y'all, you and Waylon. Don't know who that other guy was, but him too, I guess. But yeah, y'all have a great night, and see y'all later. Go Dogs!
See you, buddy.
Yep, second Go Dogs of the night. First from Waylon, second from me. Yeah. All right, see ya.
See ya. Thanks, Jacob and Waylon and Eric, for coming on tonight. We had a good show, had a good hangout. I don't like to do these as often anymore, and even if I just so busy, we don't really find much time. I love talking with you guys. But we got to be more professional on here. We got to have driven shows where we know what we're talking about. But tonight, I figured, you know what? Let's just talk some NFL and some college football, and let's just get after it a little bit. So anyway, love you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you later on. God bless. Roll Tide.